Syria's outgoing Prime Minister has agreed to hand over power to rebels who led the lightning offensive to bring down the regime of longtime dictator Bashar al-Assad. Another statue honouring the Assad dynasty has been toppled a day after the former president fled to Moscow. In Damascus, the head of former al-Qaeda affiliate Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS, met with Mohammed Jalali to discuss the political transition. The new leadership is said to include members of the rebel group, which governed Idlib in northern Syria.
The young men have gained a lot of experience. They started working from nothing. Idlib is small and has no resources. We were able to achieve something big during the past period. You will see experience, it's not zero. In certain areas, they had varying high levels of success. However, we will not dispense with the old practices. It's essential that we take advantage of their existence.
Rescuers continue to search through the notorious Sednaya prison outside the capital. Known as Syria's slaughterhouse, it was one of many detention facilities where human rights groups allege rampant torture and executions took place under Assad's autocratic rule. It's believed hundreds of inmates are still in hidden cells and chambers in the vast complex.
We have detainees who were taken since 2011, 2012 and 2013. We came here, but we didn't find any detainees. We went inside and found refrigerators, burners, crushers and iron. There are gallows and corrosive acid. Detainees have come out after having been sprayed with bleach. They burned them. There were women with their kids inside. We came here last night until today. We haven't managed to see any prisoners. However, there are around 30,000 inside the prison and only 200 have been released.
On Syria's border with Turkey, hundreds of refugees gathered at checkpoints, eager to return home after the fall of the regime, which presided over the country for 54 years. More than a decade of civil war in Syria created the world's largest refugee crisis. The conflict started in 2011 when Bashar al-Assad launched a violent crackdown on pro-democracy protests to quell the growing dissent. Human rights groups put the death toll at almost 600,000 people, and it's estimated 14 million Syrians have been forced from their homes. Many went to live in tent camps. More than 7 million remain internally displaced. The rest fled, mostly to Turkey, Lebanon, Jordan, Iraq and Egypt. Germany is the largest host country in Europe, taking in more than 850,000 Syrian refugees. It's now pausing asylum applications along with other EU nations. Many Syrians are hoping to return home.
We left our memories, we left parts of ourselves there, and reuniting with friends, just sitting there, just sitting together and laughing and joking like old times, catching up. We've been scattered all around the world, so I keep imagining this image of me and my friends just sitting and laughing and talking like there has been no war.
HTS remains a designated terrorist organisation by the US, the United Nations and Australia, among others. It sought to distance itself from radical jihadist movements. The US is welcoming the leadership change, but it fears the situation could again descend into conflict and violence. It's also warning the Islamic State group will try to use the transition period to re-establish its capabilities in Syria.
It's imperative that all actors involved protect civilians, respect human rights, especially of vulnerable minorities, preserve the state's institutions and services to help meet the needs of the Syrian people, and to build toward inclusive governance. Statements by rebel leaders to these ends are very welcome, but of course the real measure of their commitment is not just what they say, but what they do.